got to stand up strong. Face the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You can get involved by calling 888-77-53-773. 888-77-JESSE. Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question for this week. The biblical question. Why are you afraid of anyone on earth? Why are you afraid of anyone on earth? An amazing question, right? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on jesseleepeterson.com/show. jesseleepeterson.com/show. You can also listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad if you're out and about and just don't have time to sit and watch it right now anywhere in the world. Because we are heard around the world and with the flat earthers up and down the world. So you can listen and then you can podcast later. It's up to you. Call the listen line on TalkStream Live on your iPhone or iPad at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us, JLP Talk on Twitter, and Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. On Instagram, and to donate and have your comments read out loud, go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk. Rebuildingtheman.com. Rebuildingtheman.com. And Bond JLP Cash App. Bond JLP Cash App. All right? And I do appreciate it. It is Wednesday, so in the third hour today, it's Manhood Hour. Every Wednesday, third hour is Manhood Hour. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man for 34 years now, I believe. Amazing. It's so amazing as to what's happening in the world, really, in the whole wide world, but especially in my country. I've said once, I've said twice, and I've said 1,000 times, times 1,000, that my country is gone. It's no longer tears of thee. It is in a mess now. My country, America, has become like the foreign country that we used to see in the media, on TV, where all these different races or people, culture, whatever you want to call them, had infiltrated the Western world, and how they, once they went in and infiltrated the Western world, there was nothing but chaos and confusion. And even in their own country, before they enter into the Western world, it was a mess in their own countries. And you used to see what looked like the citizens of those foreign countries were fighting for freedom. but they didn't really want freedom. They were pretending that they wanted it, but they really didn't. And the proof is that the Western world felt sorry for them, and they allowed them to enter into their country. And the last thing they want is freedom. They hate it. They protest against it. They don't like it. They don't want it. It's interesting how they left their country of S-hole countries and moved into the western part of the world and brought their S-hole attitude to the western part of the world and recreated the same S-hole images they had in their own country in the western world. That's mind-blowing to me, but I understand it now. I didn't before. And I never imagined that what I would see happening in the other parts of the world could even happen in America. But now it is, and because I understand now that human nature is evil, it doesn't matter where you are and what you're doing and who you are, how many degrees you have or don't have, human nature is evil. And so the leaders, so-called, they're supposed to be our servants, in our country is as wicked as the people that they have allowed to come here, and as wicked as the dictators in other parts of the world. It's the same spirit. And I noticed that the wicked people in my country, the public servants and others, they love wars. They want wars, W-A-R-S, to happen forever. They don't care that innocent people who are not a part of the war, men and women and children who are not part of it, they don't care that those people are killed. They pretend to care, but they really don't. All they care about is money and power and ego gratification for themselves. That's all they care about, because they're always pushing war. They say things to make sure that the war would never end around the world, because it's all about the money and power. It's crazy. And then the interesting thing about it is the people who are supporting the public servants have been so brainwashed that they can't see what's happening to them, that they are supporting evil. And that the public servants don't care about them at all. It's about themselves and themselves only. And they're always beating the drums of war. They beat the war drums all the time because it's about the money. These people invest in the weapons for the war, the creating of the weapons in both and wherever the war is happening, in our country, their country, it doesn't matter. And y'all just don't know it because you're not paying attention to yourself, and you're just overreacting because you've been brainwashed in the educational system. You've been destroyed by your family, so you just ain't got no sense to see. You don't have enough sense to see what's going on because you want to examine yourself. You won't pull away from the crowd to see what's going on. One of the dumbest things that human nation does, amongst many, but one, is to make you or cause you to believe that your emotions, the emotions that you're having is real, and that they are yours, and that they're valid, that they are needed. And there are people who fight to be emotional. And if you're not a part of their emotional world, they'll get mad at you. You don't love me. You don't care about my feelings. You hurt my feelings. Make me feel good. They don't know they're worshiping the devil because they've been told that emotions are good. And so the public service knows that, and they play on your emotions. And they play hard on your emotions, too, until they get a reaction. Because emotions are evil. The one thing I can promise you, and not that I'm God kind of promise, I'm promising because I understand now. All emotions are evil. All emotions are evil. I heard Joel Fried the TV yesterday. He's here every Tuesday at 11 a.m. He was talking about emotions yesterday. His show, You Should Podcast, it was so interesting. And he was talking about how, I guess a friend of his that he hadn't spoken to in a long time, they thought that he didn't like him anymore. They weren't friends anymore. And he felt something about it. And so I don't know all the details, so I don't remember everything. I just know he talked about emotions. But what the friend didn't realize, if what Joel said is true, and I believe it, I have no proof not to believe it, that the feeling of thinking that somebody don't like you is your problem, not the other person's problem. Your thinking, which are always lies, and your feelings, which are always lies. And it didn't have anything to do with the fact that Joel and his friends were not talking anymore. It had everything to do with the person who felt that way, living in hell and calling it good. Because if you were not into emotions, you would not think or feel that somebody left me, or somebody don't like me, or somebody this. You are living, you're in the world, of the world, is the world, and the world is evil. And so that would have been a perfect opportunity for his friend to overcome that emotion by questioning, who's telling me that he doesn't like me anymore, he doesn't want to hang out with me? Who's telling me that, and why am I feeling this way? Why do I care? And he would have come to realize it wasn't him. And it would have been amazing to see that and overcome that little part of hell. Emotions are evil, folks. And these ladies who are telling you that emotions are good, whether it's a Christian lady or a secular lady or preacher lady or newscaster or whatever, mama or sister or girlfriend or wife, when they say, you don't care about my emotions, all that they are saying is that you're not letting me control you. And I feel weird. I feel empty, and I need to control you so I can feel better. And you fall for it. Now you're trying to please them, and you're right in hell with them and catching nothing but hell. Because the last thing you can do is satisfy an emotional person. So stop trying, guys. And ladies, emotions are of your father, the devil. That's the devil working through you, ladies, to make you feel a certain way and operate your mind to control you. All emotions are evil. Why can't you just observe a situation without having to feel something about it? Think about that. If you think about nothing else today, think about, ask yourself, why can't I just observe this situation without having to feel something about it? What good are the feelings doing? It's not making the situation any better. If anything, it's making it worse because now you're in your mind and you're going to try to solve the situation with a feeling and a thought, or a thought and a feeling. What a mess! You must be born again. I want to give you some examples of, let's say, because most people can't see what's going on within themselves, I want to present to you some people that I believe love wars. They love them. At night, they smile when they think there's a war because money, 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 I believe, and so-called power. And so whenever you hear these people saying that they're for the war, and we all know that war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. When you hear these people saying that they're for the war, I don't care who is involved in the war, I would suggest you not be for it. Because these people don't care about you, they care about themselves. And they are making you think that they care about you because you're emotional and you love the idea that somebody care about you when they really don't. There's no love in the world today except for the few men and women who have returned to the Father. And most people will never, ever, ever, but never return to the Father. They love their hell. And if you don't want to go to hell with them, if you don't support them in war or whatever, they hate you. Because the darkness in them hate the light in you. That's what it's all about. But here are some people that whenever they are for the war, you better know, I'm backing off this one. I'm done. This is from India Today. After the Palestinian militant group attacks, after the Palestinian militant groups attack, Nikki Haley called on Benjamin Netanyahu to finish them. Watch this from Fox.
This should be personal for every woman and man in America. This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America because they hate us just as much. And what we have to understand is this is the reason that we have to unite around making sure our enemies do not hurt our friends. America can never be so arrogant to think we don't need friends, just like we needed them on 9/11. That's why Ukraine needs us when Russia's doing this. That's why Israel needs us when Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. You know Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
You just heard the voice of evil. That's an evil woman. That's the same female that took down the Confederate flag with Black Lives Matter and others. That's the same woman that says she's a woman of color. She's very insecure and evil. And she can give two hoops and a holler about you or anyone else. It's about Nikki Haley. She's a warmonger. And she has no love at all, zero love. So because she's for the war, I'm going the other way. So, and this female want to be president of my country. Finish them, the devil said. That's an evil female. Here's another evil female. Go not female, but male. Go the other way. These people are not for war because they care about the people. Because if they were for the people, they would be trying to figure out, they would know how to end the war. If you want to end a war, end the anger of humans' heart. Take away the anger of humans' heart, war will end. Period. There will be no reason to fight. And there will be peace on earth. And because the media, the governments around the world, the school teachers and the principals and the people are so wicked now, you don't know what the real truth is anymore. And it's never, ever, ever, ever what they're telling you. You can bank on that one. They're not going to tell you, oh, we're doing this war because we want money. We want power. We want control. Here's another evil one. When he say about war, you go the other way. This is from Mediac. Representative Dan Crenshaw, a Republican from Texas, has zero patience for Americans who are against endless wars. Watch this.
But what other weapon systems should Congress be focused on and investing in, asking the DOD to invest in that meet the requirements of the future? Mm-hmm. And what the hell are the requirements of the future? I mean, that's a debate in and of itself.
Yeah.
Is it the kind of gray zone? I mean, it seems like it's all of the above. And we're the United States of America, so we always have to be prepared for everything. Mm-hmm. And it should be that way. I think too many on our side get like hung up on this issue. And they pretend like we can be an ostrich and hide, and that just makes you an easy target. It's unbelievably naive reasoning, and dangerous reasoning, and stupid. I can't say that enough. Everybody who's ever screamed "No more endless wars" as their foreign policy is a freaking idiot.
Amazing, huh? If you end the wars, then where will they get their so-called power from? And I've told you before that the Republican Party is no different than the Democratic Party. The Republican Party is not the party that I joined 30-something years ago when I left the Democratic plantation. The Republican Party is the same. There are a few in the Republican Party like the Great White Hope and a couple others who seem to be want to do the right thing. But the Republican Party itself is the Democratic Party. And it can't help it because it has no other choice, because too many females are involved in it now. And the men that were there when the females arrived, they're too weak to correct the females. So they're going to take it down to hell because the females are emotional. And the men don't know how to deal with the females' emotions. So Dan Crenshaw is no different than Nikki Haley. Here's a tweet on X from Dan Crenshaw after the attacks. Watch this.
This will not be a fleeting conflict in the Israeli-Palestinian saga. This looks like it will be the war to end all wars.
They always say that, right? They said that about every war we ever had. In all wars.
It needs to be clear to Hamas and the Iranian Ayatollah and all the other proxies that this was a severe miscalculation. They need to be defeated.
Yeah, right. See there? A warmonger. And these same people, Nikki Haley and Crenshaw and others I'm going to present to you, they can care less about what's happening at the borders. Our own country. Oh, but they speak so strong when it's somewhere else. These same people are not trying to stop the Democrats from giving all our money to Ukraine. These same people are not trying to stop bail bond, the lack of bail bonds now in our country, and crime through the roof. When the last time you heard those two people, and the ones I'm about to come up with, talk about the violence day in, day out, every day, 24 hours a day, that the blacks are bringing upon America? The snatch and grab, they call it now. Fancy name, right? The killing and raping of white people. Do you ever hear them say a black person did that? Oh, but they can be strong in a war when they can't even run their own home. Another traitor. I mean, this guy is just obviously an enemy within this country, a traitor, and it's about self and not about the American people at all. At all. I remember in the good old days when boys were boys and men were men, they used to call guys like this sugar water. This is a total sugar water. And some of you might remember Lindsey Graham. Here's what Lindsey Graham had to say on Fox. Watch this. You might remember this.
So I've been on the phone all day to the Mideast, and I've told our allies and people with connections to Iran, what I would do, I would tell Iran that if Hezbollah attacks Israel, we're going to come after you, the Iranians, and have a coordinated effort between the United States and Israel to put Iran out of the oil business by destroying their refineries. There are 4 major refineries in Iran. They're fixed targets. If Hezbollah attacks Israel, I would make Iran pay a heavy price. Hamas is a bunch of animals who deserve to be treated like animals. So if I was Israel, I would go in on the ground. There is no truce to be had here. I would dismantle Hamas. This is the best opportunity Israel has to destroy Hamas. Take it to the Iranians. It is now time to take the war to the Ayatollah's backyard.
Said the sugar water. Said the sugar water. I remember we did a story on Lindsey Graham, how he invested in this stuff. He invested in the war, according to one report we did, making equipment or something like that. I'm not clear, so. But it's about the money. If there's no love in America anymore, how will my country come back? How will my country come back when there's no love? It's all selfishness. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Trump's 4 years in office, he stated no wars despite enormous pressure from his own party and even members of his own administration. They wanted the war because they want the money. Trump said no. No. And some of you might remember, this is from Breitbart, Benjamin Netanyahu praised President Trump, Donald Trump, for securing 3 peace deals in 6 weeks between the Arab countries and Israel. There don't have to be wars, folks. But we got war lovers in our government. Why not put America first? Oh, your ego is in the way. There's no money in putting America first. I love what Bryce Mitchell had to say. This is from Breaking Point. UFC fighter Bryce Mitchell commented on the war in Ukraine. This is from In Context. Watch this.
Just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole Russia and Ukraine situation.
You know, here's my first thought is I'm not going nowhere to fight none of these wars for these politicians. I'm staying at home, and when the war comes to Arkansas, I will dig my boots in the ground and I will die for everything I love, and I will not retreat. If this country's invaded and everybody's saying, well, we gotta evacuate, we gotta leave, I will not. I will dig my boots in the Arkansas soil and I will fight for the people that I love, for the land that I love, and the way of life that I love. But I'm not going overseas to fight. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, brother. I really don't. There's so much stuff, and I don't think nobody knows what's going on fully. There's been so much political corruption in that area. He shouldn't be giving our tax dollars to that country anyway. We got veterans out here sleeping on the street, and you're going to give our freaking tax dollars to these Ukrainians and all that. Brother, I don't know what's going on over there, but, man, I don't like war. You know what I mean? I don't want people dying and all that stuff. I don't want to be, but I don't know what's going on. There's so much stuff that I think that's corrupted that we just don't know what's truly going on over there.
Steve, thank you for calling and thanks for holding. How have you been helped by the show?
I'm going to tell you this. I believe you might go down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest, black man that ever lived on planet Earth, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anybody before you that's been that great. You know, freeing the slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. Okay, folks, welcome back. Sorry for the way we ended that. I didn't realize that we were that close to a break. But before, we're going to get to your phone calls here in a minute. 888-7753-773. Your phone calls and your super chats. I just want you to hear common sense about war, because Lindsey Graham and Dan Crenshaw and Hake, Nikki Haley, all evil. And they don't care about you. They don't care about America. Nikki Haley took down a Confederate flag, and she want to be the president of my country. Is you crazy? But before I go to the phone call, and we're going to get to this, I want you to hear this clearly hear it all, amazing comment from Bryce Mitchell. And he want to put America first. He said, I'm not going to war into a foreign country for our government. We don't know what's going on. Let those people fight by themselves if they want to fight. But you bring the war to us, it's a different story. You're supposed to protect your house first. America first. You're not supposed to be going to somebody else's house, getting you in all their business and fighting with them about their mess. Take care of your own. And while you focus on someone else's mess, your mess falling apart. It's like a man who have children, married already or was married, have children, and he leave his wife and go and get with another woman who already have children for someone else and pretend to be a good father. While his children are falling apart, he's over there pretending he care about the other woman's children when it's really about him. It's about him. So I want you to hear Bryce Mitchell's unemotional mindset and a common sense mindset, right? Especially about foreign policies and all that mess. This is Bryce putting America first. It makes sense. I used to hear men speak this way all the time in the good old days. That's gone now. Rarely do you hear men speak this way. Breaking point. UFC fighter, he want to put America first. Bryce Mitchell comments on the war in Ukraine. Watch this from In Context again.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole Russia and Ukraine situation.
You know, here's my first thought is I'm not going nowhere to fight none of these wars for these politicians. I'm staying at home, and when the war comes to Arkansas, I will dig my boots in the ground, and I will die for everything I love, and I will not retreat. If this country's invaded and everybody's saying, well, we gotta evacuate, we gotta leave, I will not. I will dig my boots in the Arkansas soil, and I will fight for the people that I love, for the land that I love, and the way of life that I love. But I'm not going overseas to fight. I don't know what's going on, to be honest, brother. I really don't. There's so much stuff, and I don't think nobody knows what's going on fully. There's been so much political corruption in that area. He shouldn't be giving our tax dollars to that country anyway. We got veterans out here sleeping on the street, and you're going to give our freaking tax dollars to these Ukrainians and all that. Brother, I don't know what's going on over there, but, man, I don't like war. You know what I mean? I don't want people dying and all that stuff. I don't want to be, but I don't know what's going on. There's so much stuff that I think that's corrupted that we just don't know what's truly going on over there.
Amazing. Grandpa, tell me about the good old days. He's right. And that's the way Americans used to stand before. That's gone now. And I was talking yesterday about how the people in the streets fighting one another without even knowing what's going on. They're against America. The Jews are against the Palestinians. Here in America, Palestinians against the Jews. And they really don't know what's going on. And you ask them why, they can't tell you. They only quote what somebody said in the media or what this dumb school teacher's been teaching them. College teacher, high school teacher, whatever. Amazing, huh? Anyway, 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. Let me go to Greg. There is a line open for Greg out of New York. Greg, welcome to the show.
Hello, Jesse.
Hey, Greg.
So I had a question. You said, I heard you say once that earthly fathers represent God on earth, and I was wondering, and I can see that now, like, now that I forgave my mom and dad, I now, like, every negative thoughts I had towards my dad, or if I thought he was a victimizer, it's all gone, and the things he's taught me throughout my life, I see in a new way. Like, for example, he taught me to sit down, be quiet, put my hands in my lap, you know, if I did something wrong or that he saw would danger me, or if I didn't do something like that. And other stuff like that I've just seen in a different way. And because of time, I have to go. But I was wondering, how can I see that even though he's in a weak state? How does he still be a good father like that?
Because what you have to realize, and if you stay working on yourself, you will realize it, that men... the man's God is the God above, and that they are sons of God. And even though they may be weak because they have been destroyed by their mothers when they were kids, they're still weak sons in the family of God, right? And so when you don't resent your earthly father, that's why women and mothers say turn you away from your father, because their God, which is the devil inside of them, they know that your father, your earthly father, represent God. And if boys and girls love their earthly father, then the God of the woman, which is the devil, cannot destroy them. And it wants to destroy them. So when you love your earthly father, your eyes will open and you will naturally love God because you love the Son. Greg, wow. You have noise in the background, Greg.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. And so just don't resent him and forgive your mother, because her God, which is the devil, is working on her mind and emotions, which were passed down to her from her mother. She couldn't help but turn you away from your father because she didn't understand the evil spirit of her God that was driving her. Heaven come through your earthly father, and hell come through your mother.
Okay.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Yes, I forgave them both, my mom and my dad.
And are you doing the silent prayer every day, every night, every morning, every night?
Yes, sir.
Well, just stay with it. And because you're welcoming the truth, you're not fighting against it, but you're welcoming it, even though you might not understand it all yet, it will be made clear to you what's going on, and it's going to blow your mind.
Okay. I was just wondering because, I know I can see he's in a weak state, but he taught me, how to run my own business, all this good stuff, this really good stuff.
And how is he in a weak state? What do you mean by that?
He's emotional. I told him about how when I forgave him, I said, maybe you should forgive your mother. He said he was going to do it. We went to her, and he didn't. Stuff like that. So.
Oh. Well, that's because might not be ready to overcome it or afraid to deal with his mother. And that he cannot help it because all mothers do that to their children, and they become afraid of their mothers. And after a while, they accept the abnormal state of life as a norm. They start to believe that thoughts and emotions are normal. And so Satan tells them, if you forgive your mother, you're going to hurt her feelings. Or she's going to get mad. Or your mother took care of you. He lies to them because they now believe that their thoughts and emotions are their own. But don't try to force your father to do it. Don't judge him for not doing it. He cannot help himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he said to me she's too old, and then also he told me about his dad passed away, my grandpa, but he also said that his grandpa didn't show him his dad didn't show him a certain type of love. Like, for example, when he left for the military, he just shook his hand and it just reminds me of what you say.
Well, when he shook his hand, that was showing him love.
Right.
But he just can't see, Greg, so don't try to impose it on him. You just become the light. And then he will see if he want to change, because most people hate the light in others, right? But he will see you and will see something different about you. And he may, since you've already told him what the problem is, he may end up doing it. So don't think that he would never do it or he will do it. Don't try to impose it on him. Every time you see him, don't be all into that. And just be a perfect example for him. Well,
Sounds
not
good.
for him, but because you should become a perfect example.
I want to see God.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are things going for you in your life so far?
Things are going good. Oh, this is another thing I was going to say is I'm really good at when someone, like, for example, my dad or someone makes me feel something on the inside, I will, count it as joy. I'll recognize that feeling's not me. However, I still like good feelings and good thoughts. I'm still really into that. And I do sometimes feel the fear of letting go of some of my false identities.
And what is
makes you feel, yeah.
What is a good feeling or a good thought?
Like I have to prove myself to someone, so I'll explain something to someone intellectually, even though that's not going to help them. That's not going to help me.
And why do you call that a good thought or a good feeling?
I don't know.
You don't know why you're calling it a good thought or a good feeling?
Maybe because it feels good to me that I could help them.
That's an evil thought and an evil feeling. There's nothing you can do to help anyone. I can't help anyone. No human being can help another person. Nothing can help another person. That's an evil thought and an evil feeling, which is not your own. It's of your father, the devil. You're worshiping the devil when you take that on as your thought and your feeling, and you call it good. You're calling the devil good.
Right.
That make sense?
Yes.
And Greg, I'm telling you, man, if you stay, I don't care what happens on the outside of you, and what's happening on the inside. If you stay with it, you will clearly come to know without effort that all thoughts and all feelings are evil. No such thing as a good feeling or a good thought. Is all evil. And it's not you at all. You just think that is you because you've identified with it. And that's why you say, oh, I'm getting a good feeling. Or I feel good. I feel this. And when you do that, you're identifying with the abnormal nature, which is of the devil, as though it's your own.
Okay.
I watched this particular show, and I noticed that the female host, whenever she talked to people, she talked to black people or Christian people or what seemed to be a bad situation. The first thing she said, oh, we are all just so sorry for you. We are praying for you. We're just so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, what a helper. She's so into the devil and doesn't even know it. And so I want you to encourage you to really closely pay attention to thoughts and feelings, and you're going to see the real Greg. You are not your thoughts and feelings. Those thoughts and feelings are not your own. No feelings belongs to you. It's an abnormal nature, which is of the devil.
All right, sounds good. I have to run because of time. I'm at my job.
Okay. Take care.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye. You are not your thoughts and feelings, people. Why do you think that in the mind, evil is always trying to make you think what you're thinking and feeling is real? Why? He doesn't let up. He give you things to think about. It don't even make sense. Like, what the first thing in the morning or the last thing at night or during the day, watch the thoughts and feelings that come to your mind. And you're going to see, I wouldn't have made myself think that. What the? And then you eventually stop identifying with it and you'll be free. And you want to live a no-thinking life. The intellectuals have told you that you want to live a thinking life. They're evil, and they can't see, and they're telling you about their hell, and they're bringing you into their hell, and you believe them. And in relationships, I don't care what kind of relationship it is. If it's not working on its own naturally, without any requirement from you or anyone, it's not meant to be. You can't make it happen. It either happened naturally without any effort from you at all, any confirmation. Then it's evil. It's not meant to be. Your ego is in the way. Your ego is in the way. A friendship, a marriageship, a co-workership, a businessship, a management ship, any type of ship. Real ones require nothing from you, and you require nothing from anyone else, emotionally and all that mess. But the experts love to make you think, says Joel Friday. The experts love to make you think. Critical thinking. Anyone that tells you that you need critical thinking, what they're really saying to you, they hate you. And they're inviting you into their hell. No such thing as critical thinking. How are you going to do critical thinking when no thoughts are your own? You don't create them. How would you create a critical thought if you're not in control of any thoughts? Super chat.
Super chat.
Super
chats. Dinkelberg bought you a coffee yesterday. Hey, Jesse and Hake. Love you guys. Shout out from Cozy.
Shout out from Cozy. Thank you, Dinkelberg.
Cozy.tv/JLP.
Amazing.
Mr. Pink bought a coffee. First time I heard war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Was in the movie Rush Hour where Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker were dancing to it. Never touch a black man's radio. Especially never stop Jesse when he's serenading us with the best renditions of all the classics. JLP legend.
Amazing. Thank you. And I do remember Chris at that movie. It was funny, for one thing, for sure. Is Jackie Chan still around?
Yeah.
Oh, he is?
Barely breathing.
Oh, yeah?
Nah, he's fine.
Oh.
He's just getting older.
I'm still alive, but I'm barely breathing. I pray to a God that I do believe in.
69 years old.
That's not old. Just imagine being as old as Israel.
Wow.
Do you know that Israel is 1 year older than me? I thought I was older than dirt, but to discover that I'm older than Israel, that's a different story. How can you be older than a country? I have a cousin that I grew up with. We were like brothers, right? And he was 1 year older than me. And I was like, wow, Israel's the same year my cousin.
Wow.
I never imagined anyone was older than a country. Anyway, thank you.
Beta No More bought you 3 coffees. Update. It's been 3 weeks since my wife and I attended your church service. Jesse, you helped my wife realize her anger isn't good. Every morning and night we do the silent prayer. I don't talk to her about it or anything because I realized she is on her own journey and I can't help her at all. She does come to me with questions and I answer the Jesse way. LOL. Lots of laughs. She doesn't listen to your podcast or church service just yet, but I encourage her to. We have a plan for her to quit her job in June. This past week, I told her to take a week off of work. And surprisingly, she did. And that week was amazing. Home-cooked meals every day. Yeah. Her stress from work was gone. She even wanted to have adult time more often. Thank God I had my alpha jerky next to the nightstand. JK.
Amazing. Stay with it. Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. And if you have not heard about the Afro Jerky, watch this from Big Club USA.
We don't have
.com.
Oh, we don't have time.
Oh, we don't have time?
Going to the break. It's time for the news almost.
I'll do it when I come back. Thank you, though. Appreciate it.
Amazing Asia bought a coffee. It's Libra season, and I'm a Libra. Once you get with a Libra, you ain't gonna want a Libra. Cool face emoji with sunglasses smiling. I made that up, so I'm so creative.
That's right.
Okay, let me put my ego away now. Bye. Peace sign emoji.
Nice. Thank you, Libra. I like that. You know, once you get rid of Libra, you're not on a Libra, bro.
That handyman with the biblical question response. I don't know if we have time.
When I come back, don't forget that.
Okay.
We'll do it when I come back because we got to take a break. And your phone calls too, all right? I get to your calls, 888-7753-773. 2 more hours to go. The hate news, not the fake news. Yeah, thank you all. The hate news, not the fake news coming up. And I'll be back in a moment. Back in a moment. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really, really, really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
corrupt Joe Biden is quote unquote for Israel. Oh, Lord. This is the end of hour one of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, Wednesday, October 11th, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour two. JLP will be right back to your calls and the rest of the super chats and more great stories. But first, Hake news, not fake news. So-called President Biden made clear his administration stands with Israel. In a televised 10-minute address yesterday, Biden called the Hamas's attack on Israel pure, unadulterated evil. Like he's one to talk, right? This is from the ladies at the Skim, right? He spoke about young people slaughtered at a music festival, infants and Holocaust survivors abducted, women assaulted and paraded as trophies. As he put it, Hamas's terrorism evoked the worst rampages of ISIS. He then spoke about U.S. hostages. At least 20 Americans are still unaccounted for, with 14 confirmed killed. Biden said that there were no higher priority for his administration than their safe return. He also warned anyone or any country thinking of taking advantage of the conflict, don't. Ooh, scary. And he said, like every nation in the world, Israel has the right to respond. The administration is pushing for more aid to Israel from Congress, evil, corrupt Congress. Biden didn't urge Israel to show restraint in Gaza and said there is no justification for terrorism. He also didn't address whether he regrets releasing the $6 billion in frozen funds to Iran in exchange for the release of the 5 so-called Americans who were stuck there. In Gaza, Israel is now preparing for a ground invasion after carrying out hundreds of airstrikes that left over 900 people dead in Gaza. One man said an Israeli airstrike wiped out 19 members of his family, creating enemies. But Palestinians in Gaza do not have bomb shelters. Israel is now carrying out a siege on water, food, and fuel. In Israel, the death toll is over 1,200 people, reportedly. Among the deadliest events in Israel's history, many still trying to identify the dead and hostages, while Hamas has continued to send 2,000 rockets. Meanwhile, the country is seeing an uptick in gunfire exchange on its northern border with Lebanon. Wow. Why wasn't Israel prepared? The ladies at the Skim say the Israel military is considered among the most advanced in the world, boasting a missile defense system, high-tech fence, radar technology, underground sensors. Still, Hamas's ground invasion allowed at least 1,500 Hamas militants to break through. Experts attributing the lapse to distraction and tech. The government and military were focused on a recent wave of protests and attacks in the West Bank tied to expansion of Israeli settlements. There were also threats of a potential war from the north with concerns of Hezbollah militants attacking from Lebanon, which I guess they're doing. The high-tech border with Gaza was reportedly minimally staffed, allowing explosions and bulldozers simply to push through. Israel's focus on high-tech and cybersecurity seemed to distract them from a more traditional low-tech ground assault. Hamas went offline so that Israel's intelligence couldn't pick up their communications. That means face-to-face meetings and using couriers over cell phones. One source told Reuters Hamas practiced military landings in a mock Israeli settlement that they built. Military analysts and Israelis will grapple with the security failure on October 7th for years to come. Even U.S. intelligence officials say that they didn't see any signs of Hamas's plans. What a mess. The speaker vote today? Here, meanwhile, in America, the House today, Republican conference, according to the far-left females at the Skim, is expected to vote on whom to back as Speaker of the House. They've been without a speaker since last week. 8 Republicans voted out Kevin McCarthy, the rhino from Bakersfield, California, for working with the demon rats to avoid a government shutdown. Steve Scalise, Republican from Louisiana, and Jim Jordan from Ohio facing off for the job. Ghost of speakers past might be sneaking in on them. Rumor has it McCarthy's allies could be working to nominate him as speaker again. If the divided GOP can't get behind one candidate, some Republicans might have to reach across the aisle again to get Congress back to work. What a mess. I'm James Hake. Now back to JLP, Hour 2. JesseLeePeterson.com/show for all your links.
got to stand up strong. Ain't the truth about themselves to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the second hour of the show today. It's already the second hour. You can get involved by calling 888-77, and there is a line open, folks. 888-7753. 773 888-77 Jesse, Jesse. The biblical question for this week, and it's a doozy. Why are you afraid of anyone on earth? Why? Why are you afraid of anyone on earth? Have you ever asked yourself that? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And if you're out and about, working out, laying up at the beach, trying to cross the borders, coming in from Mommy Africa and China and all about country, or wherever, you can listen to the show on your iPhone or iPad. Since you know, they're giving you phones now. iPad, by calling the listen line on TalkStream Live at 641-793-1500. 641-793-1500. And then once you get your nice hotel, they give you your hotel 4-star in New York. You're illegal alien, you can podcast it as well. Don't forget to follow us on rumble.com/Jesse Lee Peterson. Rumble. You got to know how to rumble. .com/Jesse Lee Peterson. A cozy.tv/JLP. Cozy.tv/JLP. All right. We have a brand new episode of The Fallen State this Friday. If the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise. I had a very interesting discussion with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. Not the dead one, the one that's living. Muhammad Ali from the Muslim Latin, the Muslim Lantern, L-A-N. He's from the Muslim Lantern YouTube channel. Watch this.
Next time on The Fallen State.
You're not a Muslim. It's just a religion that you belong to.
No, I know I'm a Muslim. I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that Christianity is not the truth.
Amazing.
I love the people based on the actions that they take.
My God, in order to be of him, we have to love all.
Do you believe your God loves Hitler?
Yes.
So that's the difference between our God and yours.
Do you love those Muslims who cut off people's head and put them on the internet?
Absolutely not.
Does a chicken have lips?
Is it the chicken has lips? I don't know.
It was an amazing conversation. We had no idea the war was coming. What the? In Israel there. TheFallenState.tv, and you can support The Fallen State now on TheFallenState.tv /donate and locals.com. locals.com. So what I want to do before I go to the callers here, 888-7753-773, and finish up on those super chats that we started and ran out of time there.
Okay.
Super.
That handyman gave a rumble rant yesterday answering the biblical question.
Why are you afraid of anyone on earth?
I fear nothing in this world or anyone. I've died of my ideas of who I thought I was, ego. I feared the world because I knew no better and only knew hate. But I do fear steps because of my head.
You fear steps?
Because of my short-haired woman head emoji.
What?
That's what it says. I don't know. I do fear steps cause...
STEPS?
Yep.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that handyman means.
Oh, okay. And what else?
And that's all from that handyman.
But
Nice.
what did you say about his short-haired wife?
No, it's just an emoji. It has a short-haired person. It looks like a woman to me, but maybe it's a boy.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Thank you. I don't quite understand the last part, but thank you. And I'll put my little 2 cents in on Sunday. Appreciate it.
Nice. Someone bought you a coffee. No message. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marcus bought you a coffee. Jesse, I see my constant need/desire, and from others imposing, to be something, be successful, be a strong man, live up to my potential, to be and do more, to be as revered as my dad. As revered as my dad. I am so sick of trying to be anything. I just had to share in this moment. I realized it. Thanks.
Nice. If you want to have real life, the normal life, the natural life, stop trying to be anything or anyone. You've been set up to believe you need to be all that. And it sounds like you're understanding it now. But you don't need to be that. You can never be that. Because it's an illusion anyway. It's just a thought. That's all it is. Let it go. And let everybody else go crazy trying to be something, be depressed, they're afraid, they're vengeful, and they're jealousy, but you live your life just being. Amazing. Thank you. Let me ask.
Yep.
Remember our friend Anna?
Yeah.
Anna?
Yep.
Is she Palestinian?
No, she's German.
She's what?
German.
Does she hate the Jews?
I don't know.
She like the Jews?
I don't know.
Because she sent all of us a little note.
Oh, yeah?
And
recently?
Yesterday, I guess.
Okay.
And it popped on my computer because I don't know how to find this stuff, right?
Right.
But I couldn't tell if she was Palestinian or Jewish or what. And I couldn't tell what she was for because she seemed to be angry at us, thinking that we were for Israel.
Oh.
In this war thing.
Yeah.
Because she said something like, and I don't have it in front of me, so Anna, I might not quote it correctly. Forgive me in advance. She said that Jesse, I talked about how I went to Israel before and how it was amazing. How it was amazing. And if I was God, you can't get in heaven unless you've gone to Israel first before you died.
Yeah.
And I went to Israel. But I think she went with me to Israel because she said that Israel, when I went to Israel, they took me on a guided tour, something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't remember her being with me.
Oh.
Did she go to Israel on our bus trip?
I wasn't around. I didn't even know you back when you went to Israel. I don't know.
Oh, but unless she was there, how would she know what happened?
She might be speculating.
It may not be our Anna.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it could be
a different Anna.
I see what you're saying. Yesterday afternoon. Don't be a hypocrite.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite understand the message, and so I figured maybe it's not the Anna that we know. I mean, I never met her in person, but
Yeah.
You know, so he's just in these nice cars.
There are
and-
impersonations for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
Because it sounded like she went to Israel with me. So it may be somebody I know from the past and just forgot who they are.
Yeah. Or it could be making assumptions. Because a lot of times they say, oh, people talk about when people got a trip to Israel, a lot of the Jew critics or Jew blamers will say, oh, that's how they cajole them into supporting Israel. They cajole like these politicians and people and pastors and things.
Who is cajole?
Cajole is to...
I never met him.
It's not a person.
Oh, who is he?
It's not a person.
Oh, what is it? You know cajole?
Like manipulate?
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you. I don't know thesaurus.
Who?
I don't know words.
You don't know the meaning.
Yeah. I just know the word. I don't know
But
how
anyway,
to say
go
it.
ahead.
A lot of people speculate about stuff like that.
Oh, but what they...
Or they joke like, oh, Jesse got the call from Israel to support Israel or something like that. Or, oh, the Jews are paying JLP to love Israel.
What
Stuff like that. So there's a lot of people who speculate or joke around.
What y'all need to know then, if you want to know.
Or they make assumptions.
Assume.
Yeah.
You make an ass out of yourself, at me.
Like when you say wish Israel well, they think that means you're taking sides.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like Jesse literally told us to take sides with Israel just by saying wish them well.
What y'all don't know, I grew up in Alabama, and I was a Baptist Christian. And all of my growing up life, it was clearly understood that Christianity came from Judaism. That during the time when Christ was here and he was created in New Testament, he brought all into that. And for that, we were taught, and I was naturally taught, we should appreciate Judaism as much as we do Christianity because of that spiritual incident that happened, right? And so we were taught to love. It's funny, too, I'll tell you that in a minute. We were taught to appreciate Christianity. And so when I moved to L.A., and at some point I had the opportunity, once I started the organization, to go to Israel to visit. It was, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm going to Israel. What the? And it was amazing because I walked through the Bible in Israel. Everything I ever read, not everything, but most of the things I read in the Bible, I was able to see it in the physical. And it was amazing. And that's why I didn't know this Anna was on that trip because for some reason, she thought it was guided in some kind of weird way.
Yeah.
But it was amazing to walk through the Bible. And then it was amazing that, it was so amazing that we came back and I told what happened. And then they went back, a group of people went back from our organization and they saw it as well. But we were baptized in the Jordan River, I guess. One of those rivers.
Yeah.
We have pictures of it somewhere.
True.
And so it's funny in that when I was growing up, and even now, to be honest with you, I never thought of the people of Israel. I just thought of the spirit of Israel and Christianity. That's where we went. That's us?
That's the coast?
That's not Israel, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that's Israel. Look at me in Israel. Don't I look happy or do I look like...
You look like you're overseeing a plantation.
That's right.
Are they working out there?
That's the military.
It's the album cover.
No. And so and that's me right there too in Israel. We're Francisco.
That's a dry desert.
They're Francisco. We're in the military base because they invited me. Even though I was with the group, they invited me to go and watch and see the military.
Yeah.
I don't know why though. Maybe Anna was there.
You even got to hold an AK. Is that an AK?
Yeah. I'm sitting in an army truck.
Cool.
And that's an IDF rifle.
Okay. But not an Uzi.
And Francisco was a skeleton. That was Joel said. And so that's Francisco in the army truck.
So that's IDF. It's not AK.
I don't know. Nick is saying it's the IDF. I don't know how he knows.
He's smart. He knows.
Has he ever shot a gun?
I don't know. Look, that looks like an M1 Garand.
That's in Israel too. So the military gave me a tour as well while I was there. That's one of the old cities.
Cool.
Isn't that amazing?
Ruins.
The ruins. That's me in Israel too. That's where I went to where I guess the governor or somebody hang out.
Who is that person on the... I know I'm asking the wrong
It
person.
looked like Benjamin Franklin from here.
Benjamin Franklin doesn't have a beard. You picked the one guy who doesn't have a beard. Or didn't.
Oh, amazing. And so for me, going to Israel was a blessing. And so I didn't think of the people like, I wasn't thinking that way. I was just thinking of the opportunity and the spiritual connection that Christianity and Judaism has together as one. I wasn't thinking all this mess y'all thinking about. And they treated us well over there, and it was an amazing trip. And I still say that before you die, you should go to Israel. Especially, and not only, if you call yourself a Christian. So spiritually, and I know now, but I didn't know then because I wasn't thinking that way, that you can find good and bad in all human beings. There are human beings who are evil, but they have overcome, they are now of good. There are human beings that love their evil ways, and they are of evil. That's just it, the way it is around the world with every human being, right? But there's a spiritual way of living too, and you're not into that mess. But it was an amazing trip. And Anna, if you were there, I don't remember you. And but I hope you enjoyed the trip as I did. But I don't think that's our Anna. Because this person sounds like she may be a Palestinian.
Yeah, no, Geronimo, German Anna from Missouri, not Palestine.
Oh.
So.
And so why is she on the side of?
No, I'm saying that our Anna is German and from Missouri.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I feel
not to my knowledge Palestinian whatsoever.
Well,
nice.
Once you get a chance to read the note,
okay,
she sent you a note there.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Because I think now either she was with us on the trip,
right,
or she is a Palestinian.
Oh. Why do you say she could be a Palestinian?
Because of the way the note sounded.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, though.
Did it sound like Rashida Tlaib? We're going to impeach that MFer? Trump?
What a mess, huh?
Terrible.
I can't believe that woman in our government.
I know.
Sean said the IDF is an Israel Defense Force.
Yeah, in the chat, Dennis 2020 said 308 was that ladder rifle. M14, maybe M14 was the...
Can we see that again, Sean?
The rifle?
Not Sean, but Hassan. So that's
Hassan is Muslim for Sean.
That is what?
Maybe that's an M14.
Sean, that's an M14 or IDF?
IDF ain't a rifle. What the? Says distracted blur.
Hold on, be quiet. What'd you say? Oh, it's an IDF weapon. It comes from the Israel Defense Force.
Right. It's from the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force. It's the Galil, says American Anchor Baby.
What's a Galil? The name of the rifle?
Maybe.
And the food in Israel.
IMI Galil, family of Israeli-made automatic rifles, chambered for 5.56 and 7.62. So it's basically it's an AK. Basically.
And Nick said correct.
Nice.
Yeah.
Boom.
Amazing.
Moving on.
And I went to the Wailing Wall.
Nice. The Wailing Wall.
Yeah.
What is the Wailing Wall about?
It's where the Jews go and do this.
It's also called the Western Wall.
Yeah.
And in Islam, it's the Burak Wall. Ancient limestone wall in the old city of Jerusalem.
And I went to the
Part of the Temple
Wall.
Mount or whatever.
I touched the wall.
Whoa. You touched the mic.
Yeah, I know, I just hit it. Also, I saw the city of David.
Bethlehem? Is it the city of David, Bethlehem?
What am I pointing at right now? But I saw the city of David.
Yeah.
And you can see that it was once upon a time a beautiful city when the Jews owned it.
Yeah.
And the Jews made a horrible mistake in giving it over to the Palestinians. And they turned it into a ghetto.
Yeah, you've told this story about how the Palestinians don't do anything with the land and they just let it be a ghetto.
It's like we're just walking down the road, and then on one side of the road is the city of David, on the other side of the road is Israel. And you're just walking down and you look over, they're like, that's the city of David. And I'm like, what the? And it could be a beautiful city because it's built in the mountains.
Cool.
But if the Palestinians are so mad at the Jews, they can't even keep it going.
That's where Jesus was born, right?
Oh, Jews would be upset then if he saw that.
It doesn't say anything about Jesus in the
I don't know if
Wikipedia.
Jesus was born there, but...
I mean, he was born in Bethlehem.
And right away I thought about, that's how it is in our country. The white people give up their communities and their land, and they leave it all nice. And the blacks move in and they destroy it because they're so angry at the whites, and then they want to follow the whites somewhere else.
Uh-huh.
And I immediately thought about that over there because that's what the Palestinians are doing. They are mad at the Jews.
Yeah.
And the Jews give them the Gaza Strip. They give them all the land, and they still don't do nothing with the land. They still mad. They want more land.
And then it starts to get a little gentrified by the settlements moving in. Because some Israelis are going over there and settling. And so it's getting gentrified and they're getting mad.
That's what the blacks do. I mean, that's what the whites do here. They move back into the black community.
Yeah.
Because the blacks be saying, well, y'all left and we don't have any businesses here now. We don't have anything. The economy left with you. And so the whites move back and they say, you're gentrifying us. And the whites are like, I'm darned if I do it. I'm darned if I don't. What do you want me to do? Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
But the Palestinians have the same type of anger going on for the Jews that the blacks have going on for the whites. And as a result, they can't get anything done.
Yeah.
What a mess. Telegraph. The European Union helped to build more than 30 miles of water pipeline for Palestinians, despite Hamas terrorists boasting of their ability to forge an arsenal of homemade rockets from pipes. What the?
Arsenal. So they took the pipe. They took the water pipes from the pipelines and made pipe bombs or pipe rockets or rockets from pipes?
Yeah, Sean said. Of course.
Gave them water pipelines and they turned them into rockets. Well, that's pretty enterprising.
They should be cleaning their neighborhood.
Yeah,
up.
True. Trying to give them credit.
Leave the pipes alone. But anyway.
All right.
Anna, I don't know if you were with us and I just don't remember. but I got you, you know. And I can't tell if you're saying you are a Palestinian or a Jew. But either way, you didn't seem quite happy.
I'll read it and let you know what I think.
Okay.
Someone bought you 3 coffees. Hey, Jesse, being in the moment is so beautiful. It truly is so glad you decided to spread the message of forgiveness and presence with God. And I'm so grateful to God I was able to receive it. Something I realize about the devil is he doesn't give you half-truths. He gives you 99.999% truths. He is an imposter and a forger. And if you're not present, he will fool you and make you believe he is God. Wow.
Yeah. And the devil doesn't give you any truth at all. Really. Even when he reminds you of what happened yesterday, he's lying because that's not happening now. In the devil, there is no truth. In thoughts, there is no truth. In emotions, there is no truth. It's pure evil.
But he'll give you facts.
And stay with it, stay with it, stay with it. The depths of evil run deep. Anyone that has anger is pure evil. But stay with it, stay with it. It'll blow your mind. Thank you.
Jimmy says, I'd rather listen to Jesse sing Grandpa, tell me about the good old days than the Judds. The Judds who sang that song originally.
Thank you. See there? Amazing.
Also, Benjamin Netanyahu is an alpha, just like the great white hope. Oh, the wall going up.
That's right. Benjamin Netanyahu is amazing. Y'all better be glad over in Israel that you got Benjamin right at this time. God is always looking out for you. There's no other person over there that I'm aware of that would be able to deal with this attack in the way Benjamin is and will and is and gonna. Thank you.
Baby Jessica's daddy with a diamond. Just saw JLP on Your Mom's House podcast today.
Nice.
I don't remember that one.
Me either.
But nice.
But thank you.
Urinal Chills is a monthly supporter on a Rumble. Wonder if the black Israelites want to be Israelites now.
I do understand the so-called black Israelites. I know they're pretending to be Jews because they're lost. And the idea of thinking that you are a Jew, it's saying that it gives you a thrill, like a feel-good thrill. But it's crazy that, and I understand it. How you going to say you're a Jew and you're black? It's just, but I understand it. All for the thrill of it. Thank you.
Excuse me. Urinal Chills gives monthly support on Rumble. Good morning. How y'all? You got to know how to rumble. I wish Israel well.
Nice. I do too. Amazing. There is a friend of ours that was visiting the church service a few weeks ago. He's from Israel. And he and his father, I'm going to try to get in contact with them. Maybe I can get them on the show to tell us what's going on. I hope they're fine over there in Israel. But I'm going to try to get in contact with him and get him on the show so he can give us some behind the scene what's going on over there. Amazing. Thank you.
Mike Young with a coffee. Hey, Jesse, James, Hake, and Hassan. I think that Nikki Haley must be a fan of the video game franchise Mortal Kombat because she sounds like a female version of Shang Tsung. Hey, guys, I guess when the war is done, I guess that she will say, fatality, Israel wins, and flawless victory.
No, she'll just look for another war. Nikki Haley need to go sit down. Sit down, Nikki. Thank you.
That handyman, at the end of his answer to the biblical question, I do fear steps because of my head.
Right.
He says, it's a wheelchair. Maybe he's wheelchair bound.
Oh, I see.
Handicapped handyman.
Oh, thank you for clarifying that, all right?
And thanks for the support.
Thanks for the support. I really, really appreciate it. Let me take a break. Back in a moment. Now, I totally disagree with the way things are going, but you can't be angry. because that's what the enemy wants. He wants to control you. They do things to make you mad so they can control you. It's like being married. And the wife would do things to make you mad, or she'll do things to make you feel good. And men do that to women too when they want something from the woman, especially sex. They'll make her feel good or they'll make her angry. And the woman's gonna have to say, you don't want to be angry. You want to speak up. You want to disagree with what's going on. It's wrong, but do not be angry. Then you won't have fear. You won't have doubt. You won't have worries. You'll be able to see, but you got to stay away from anger. That's why you must forgive your mothers and your fathers so that you can overcome the spirit of anger. It's a spirit and it's wicked. Nothing good in anger because it has no love, folks. You need love to defeat evil. And love is not a weakness. It's a strength. It's from God. It's His nature. Okay, folks, welcome back. 888, I'm going to get to your calls. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. A couple announcements. Number one, the Hake report is coming up at 9 a.m. this morning from 9 to 11 a.m. The Hake report. And after the Hake report, wow, W-O-W Hassan, walking on water, he and his dog. Wow, at 11 a.m. from 11 to 12. And then at 12 noon, the American Anchor Baby. The American Anchor Baby at 12 noon. All right? And you don't want to miss the American Anchor Baby. He's been on fire lately. What the? Check out bigclubusa.com. This is what you're going to find. People tell me I have a lot of alpha energy. Jesse, what gives you so much alpha energy, they say? Is it energy drinks? No. Is it cigars? No. It's Alpha Jerky. Alpha Jerky from Big Club USA. Alpha male, and you can have Alpha Jerky energy too. Amazing. So when you go to bigclubusa.com and you put in the promo code JLP33, you will receive 15% off of your purchase. And they have other things there as well, but the Alpha Jerkies are especially if you're trying to eat healthy and you want to snack on something during the day. They're really good for you, good to you, and for you. So check it out. All right. I want to get to your call, but let me just tell you this. Things are going to get worse because of the human heart. They are going to get worse because of anger. And everybody, anytime anyone complains about a situation, what they'll tell you that they have hatred in their hearts, that they're lost. And anyone that has anger has fear. And I don't care who it is, be aware, because an angry person will turn on you. I don't care how much you laugh and play and how much they helped you in the physical sense. An angry person will turn on you. But there's a way out for you. Whether it's your husband, your wife, your family members, whomever, right? Your enemy or whatever. Did you know that when you overcome thoughts and feelings that you have no enemies? Isn't that amazing? You have no enemies. You have no friends and you have no enemies when you overcome thoughts and feelings. But that's a different subject. But I want to tell you that in spite of everything that's going on around you, outside of you, inside of others, all this fear and stuff that's happening, human beings attacking one another and wars and all this mess. If you deal with the war inside of yourself first and you overcome that war, the war outside of you would not, it wouldn't bother you at all. It would be as though it's not even happening. Because it really, your issues are inside of you. They're not inside of others. Their issues are inside of them, but your issues are inside of you. And no human being, no money, no reading the Bible, no hooping and hollering, no going down to the front of the church and accepting Jesus. None of that is going to change it. Zero. It doesn't matter how many degrees you get. It doesn't matter what type of job you do, how much money. It's not going to change the conflict within you. You could get married. Men and women can get married 8,000 times, and it's not going to change one iota of your world. It will never bring peace. But if you start to focus on you, seek first the kingdom of God and his right way, only that. Don't seek a woman, don't seek a husband, a man, don't seek money, don't seek those things for a sense of identity. All those things will be added, and you will have perfect peace because those things will not be your God. And men, from this day forward, I want to encourage you to overcome your mama so you can overcome the spirit of the woman. The woman will no longer be your God. And then when you get with one, if you get with one, you'll be able to be with her but not need her. And in not needing her emotionally or anything like that, she'll follow you wherever you go. Because in following you, she's trying to make you need her. But in following you, she'll end up in heaven. Because she doesn't understand either. And never, ever, never, 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 men and women, never, ever, ever, never, ever, 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 but never, never, never try to make any relationship work. You can't make it work. If you're making it work, it's not working. Somebody told you that you're supposed to put effort in a relationship. There's a give and a take. They lied to you. I cannot tell you the number of men and women I've counseled with in the last 30-something years that have tried to put effort in a relationship, and it's just been pure hell. Because anyone that's trying to put effort in a relationship, they're doing it for their own ego need, not for you. And you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for you. Pretending it's for them, and it's not. Life, natural life, when you overcome the abnormal nature, natural life works by itself. And it's very, very easy. The natural way of life is easy. If it's complicated and it's making you lonely and frustrated and angry and you can't sleep at night, let it go. Let your will go because you're operating from hell. If somebody want to leave you, bye. How soon can you be out? And if you happen to have children, well, I'm taking the kid. Okay, you want the kid? Bye, take the baby too. Do not be attached to anyone or anything. It will destroy you. Only be attached to the truth, which is God, which is love. So if somebody want to leave and you got to cry because they're leaving, or you feel sad that they're leaving, or you feel lonely, or you feel afraid, that's a problem with you. It's inside of you, and that's an abnormal life. Overcome that, all right? Let it go. It's time to take control of your own life. A spiritual law says that only you, the individual, can return to the Father. No one, you can't take anyone with you. You can't. I hear people saying, oh, I feel bad for my parents. I feel bad for my children. I feel bad that they can't see. Then you got a problem. Why are you feeling bad that somebody else can't see? They don't want to see. They don't feel bad about not being able to see. Why do you feel bad about it? Beta male and female. Emotions are evil. And they've been pushed as though they're normal, and they're not. Whatever psychiatrists or psychologists or doctors tell you that emotions are normal, and you need to feel, and they're lying to you and taking your money. They have no answers. And you pay their buku money to lie to you to keep you in hell. They don't have the answers. They're dumb as a doorknob. And they're tripping too. They have problems they can't handle. And they give you medication. They put a fancy title on it. PDSD, HDD. And they give you medication, keep you in that hell, and a fancy name for spiritual issues. I want to encourage you to take control of your own life, men and women. And stop looking for love. Nobody has love to give. No one. I have so much love for you, my dear. It's like the more you give, the more I want. Can't get enough of your love, babe. Lying to you. She ain't got no love, and you ain't getting love. You're getting fake emotions, which are evil. We have this war going on. There is this war. We don't have this war, but there's a war going on. There is a war in America, too, to be honest. In Israel, right? People are talking about nuclear wars and all that kind of stuff. You know what's more important to Joe Biden, according to the media, than nuclear wars? It's climate change. This is from media, National Security spokesman John Kirby said Joe Biden stood by a statement that climate change is more important. Climate change is more frightening than a nuclear war. Watch this from Fox.
The only existential threat humanity faces, even more frightening than a nuclear war, is global warming going above 1.5 degrees in the next 10 years.
Does the president stand by that comment?
Absolutely he does. Climate change is an existential threat. It actually threatens and is capable of wiping out all human life on Earth.
That it was more frightening than a nuclear war. Is that it's more frightening than a nuclear war?
The president believes wholeheartedly that climate change is an existential threat to all of human life on the planet. That's just science. That's fact, Martha. But it doesn't mean that we turn our back on the other challenges facing this country and our allies and partners around the world. We've got broad national security commitments literally globally. We are big enough and powerful enough and effective enough nation to be able to look after all these disparate national security threats. And one, sorry, it's very, excuse me, very difficult to look at these images, Jake, and the human cost. And these are human beings. They're family members, their friends, their loved ones, cousins, brothers, sisters. Yeah, it's difficult, and I apologize.
Says the male that think that climate change is more important than a nuclear war. All acting, he can care less. What a beta. Pretend to be crying. He doesn't care. How do you think climate change is more important than a nuclear war? And these idiots are running our country, and you vote them in. And you vote them in. Remember, there was a time when common sense was more important than emotions? Common sense was more important. And when our government was ran by logical people, not emotional people. Emotions are evil, folks. Anyone that has anger, has emotion, that's an evil person. Cameron is a first-time caller out of Vermont. Cameron, welcome to the show. You're on it. Cameron, you're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
All is well.
Awesome. I just wanted to call in and say thank you for everything you've done for me. I've listened to you for probably, a couple years, and I've been listening to, what do you call it, the church get-togethers there?
Yeah, absolutely. Fellowship.
Yeah, I've been listening to those, and they're amazing. I got to tell you that. And I don't know. I got a lot of issues in my life, and with my family. My family's been deteriorating. My father's an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic, and I don't know. Listening to you helps me get through the day, and just keeps reminding me to turn off the thoughts, because of everything you've informed me about, and I just wanted to. I've been listening to your live, and I just wanted to call in. I saw the number on the screen, and I just wanted to thank you.
Right on. You're welcome. Let me ask. When you say that your family are deteriorated, do you mean your wife and kids?
No, I'm 24. I mean, like my parents, like they're seeming like they're going through a divorce right now because of my dad's alcoholism. I tried to tell them about you, and I told him a couple of the things that, I learned from you, and he's very defiant in his ways. He doesn't want to listen. He's like, well, based off what you just told me, he's like, I don't even want to listen to him. But yeah. I grew up, I've listened to podcasts for years now, and I listened to Jordan Peterson. You probably know him, right?
Yeah, I've interviewed him.
Yeah, I think I saw that. And he's great. And my dad, he didn't know who he was, but he likes him. He listens to him now, and I was trying to tell him about you, and I've sent my grandma a few videos that you've had, because you make all these great points that are so relatable. And like I said, I'm an alcoholic too, and I've been in rehab. And
why are you bothered about what's happening to them?
Because I feel like as he's my dad, so I've always wanted to make him proud, and he's always been
make him proud of what?
Proud of me,
Why?
I don't know, because he's always been hard on me growing up, and I feel like he's one of those type of dads that'll call you lazy, call you this and that, call you names. He's got that strong kind of love. So
why don't you forgive him for being evil? That's evil.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do that, and I just recently forgave my mom, and I think I need to do it again one day.
So let's do one thing at a time first. So you're bothered about your family falling apart for what reason?
Well, I guess I feel like I'm slightly to blame for some of it. I know deep down I'm not, but I just, like, if I can't make my parents proud, I mean, I live in a school bus, you know, they look at me like I'm a failure, and I'm happy. I try to live in happiness, you know?
Right.
But everything I do to make myself happy, they tell me that I'm being a bum, basically.
So why don't you just give them the finger and go live your life? And let them die out.
I was listening to you say that, and it's so true. That's why I wanted to call in and say thank you, because if I'm happy, why should it matter to them?
Yeah.
You know?
And so
they're living in their hell.
But I want to get to a few things here because you make an interesting point. They don't care about their own lives. If you notice, God let them stay in their hell. Why do you care?
Well, I care about my dad, and I just
if you cared about him, you would walk away.
I feel like he lost his brother really young, and that kind of ruined him.
That's
in
not
a way.
your problem. That's his problem.
Yeah. I would just feel bad knowing that if he did die, because he's in a bad mental state, and with his alcoholism too, he's been in the hospital.
But Cameron, the point is, he doesn't care about any of that. Why are you feeling bad about it?
Because I love him.
If you loved him, you wouldn't be feeling bad. You don't love him. You hate him.
You're right.
What?
I said you're right.
So then why did you say you love him?
Because I thought I did, but you are right. And I hear you talk about resenting people all the time, and I don't want to feel like I do, but I don't. He treats me terribly, but all I ever want is to try to love him, but I can't. And
you don't have love. You don't have it yet, so you can't.
Yep.
You only have hate.
You're right.
So you went to your mother and forgave her?
Yeah.
What did you say to her?
Well, we were talking about family stuff that came up, and it was emotional. I get emotional sometimes.
I get so emotional, baby, every time I look at you.
Oh, Jess, that's why I love you. But it was just talking about the family, and I just wanted to let her know. Like I said, her and my father are going through like a divorce right now, and it's mainly directed by his alcoholism, which is why.
That's not what doing it. That's not what doing it.
Yeah, you're right.
The divorce is happening because your mama hates your daddy hates your mama.
Yep.
And it had nothing to do with alcohol.
You're so right, and I just try to, God, it's just so hard to, it's easy to see the truth, and you just point it out, but it's so hard sometimes to wrap your mind around it. You know what I mean? But it's easy, but it's hard.
Are you able to hold on for me?
Absolutely.
All right, hold on. I'm going to get to all the calls, but we're going to move calls. 888-7753-773. 888-77-JESSE. One more hour to go. Manhood Hour is coming up next. A perfect call to deal with Manhood Hour from Cameron. Manhood Hour is coming up next. The hate news, not the fake news right now. The Hake news, not the fake news. And I'll be back in a moment. You can't run from evil within yourself or outside of self. You got to deal with it. And you need good in order to deal with evil. And God is good. You need to return to the Father. And you'll see within you, he will fight the battle for you. And he will fight it without, because he will show you how to deal with it. And you will have no fear. Love God with all your heart, all your soul, all your might, along with nothing else. Nothing else means yourself, your children, your wife, your things, your ego, your reputation, and all that. You can't care about any of that. The children of anger will use it to control you. But if you love God, he will renew your mind, and none of those things will be before him. And so when they go after you, oh, well, you may take my body, you may take my things, but you're not going to take my soul. And that's a true reality.
Storms blowing through Mexico, that is. Hurricane Lydia, or tropical storm, or whatever. George Santos, pray for George Santos, persecuted for being based. Half kidding. Submarine implosion fact. It didn't last very long. APA, American Psychological Association. It's not, the answer is don't be angry. The answer is be afraid and do something about the climate. And gene editing to solve the bird flu? It's been happening. This is the end of hour 2 of the Jesse Lee Peterson Show. It's Wednesday, October 11th, 2023 AD. Stay tuned for hour 3. Manhood Hour is coming right up to your calls. There is one line open. Call in right now. And JLP will get to your calls. But first, Hake news, not fake news. Lydia has weakened into a tropical storm, according to Commie Nonsense Network, after making landfall in west central Mexico on Tuesday as an extremely dangerous Cat 4 hurricane, Category 4. Hurricane center slammed into the state of Jalisco near Las Penitas with maximum sustained winds of 140 miles an hour and heavy rain, according to the National Hurricane Center. Forecasters say Lydia is expected to dump between 4 to 8 inches of rain, even up to 12 inches in some areas, likely fueling flash flooding and mudslides in higher terrain. And pray for George Santos, New York Representative Republican George Santos, facing 10 new federal charges. The corrupt feds are attacking him. Maybe he is corrupt. I don't know. But they are too, including allegations of stealing donors' identities and running up fraudulent credit card charges from donors' credit cards. I'm laughing, but that's not good. But they're the suckers for donating to him, right? He is already facing 13 other counts over alleged wire fraud, money laundering, theft of public funds, and lying to the U.S. House. They lie to us. Why can't we lie to them? Anyway, following the new indictment Tuesday, the Republican lawmaker again said that he won't resign from Congress. Nice. Never give in. George Santos is part of a class of newly elected New York Republicans who helped the party win a narrow House majority in 2022 midterms, and whose fate will be key to holding that majority in 2024. We're pulling for you, George Santos, you fat, not morally straight Republican. Anyway, 105 minutes. The Titanic-bound Titan submersible was underwater, according to CNN, before it suffered a catastrophic implosion in June. You know, you remember that, right? The U.S. coast, it went terrible. I saw footage of implosions on American Anchor Baby. Check that out, you sickos. The U.S. Coast Guard said Tuesday that the remaining debris from the disaster has been recovered, including presumed human remains. Wow. Anyway, climate anxiety. Here's a quote. "These are not issues that we can wait and resolve later. As a society, we must act now," said Dr. Dennis P. Stolle, S-T-O-L-L-E, a senior director at the APA, American Psychiatric Association, commenting on a new report that revealed climate change can have lifelong impacts on young people's mental health. This study suggests extreme weather events and poor air quality can increase the risks of anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, aggression, cognitive impairment, and more. Not to mention their focus on being angry and afraid and getting into your emotions. They don't talk about that, do they? Anyway, gene editing versus the bird flu. Chickens. Yesterday, scientists said, according to the far-left females at the Skim, that they used gene editing tech called CRISPR, C-R-I-S-P-R, all caps, on chickens to combat the bird flu. Since 2022, more than 50 million birds have died because of H5N1 virus, bird flu. Just one chicken could have the virus. The entire flock would need to be killed, which could upset the food supply. Now, scientists say that by tweaking the genes of some chickens, they were able to make them resistant to the virus. But what else are they resistant to? Still, the researchers said, we're not there yet. More work is needed. Wow. Crazy, huh? Anyway, after the Jesse Lee Peterson Show, the Hake Report, and after the Hake Report, wow, Hassan, walking on water, Hassan. And then, of course, American Anchor Baby, JesseLeePeterson.com/show. Bye.
have to stand up strong, face the truth about themselves, to understand what went wrong. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way to stand up, stand up, stand up.
Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. We're also uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the third hour of the show already. Amazing. It went by just like that. What the? You can get involved by calling 888-7753-773, 888-77-JESSE. Jesse, Jesse. My biblical question. The biblical question, why are you afraid of anyone on earth? Why are you afraid of anyone on earth? We have every way that you can watch and support the show listed on JesseLeePeterson.com/show. JesseLeePeterson.com/show. And no matter where you are in this world and you're busy, you don't have time to sit and watch the show, and you like to, I'm a podcaster, you say. I'll podcast it later. But you could be listening to the show while you're doing whatever you're doing. Cussing out your mama, cussing out your daddy, cussing out your husband, your wife, whatever. You could be listening to the show on your iPhone or iPad by calling the listen line at 641-793-1500, 641-793-1500. And don't forget to follow us, hit the like button, ring the bell, subscribe. Y'all know what to do? What the? Go to JLP Talk on Twitter, Jesse Lee Peterson on Instagram. All right? Amazing. And donate and have your comments read out loud. You have to go to buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, buymeacoffee.com/JLP Talk, or rebuildingtheman.com. And last but not least, Bond JLP on Cash App. Bond JLP on Cash App. It's the third hour of the show. It is Wednesday. And every third hour of the show on Wednesday, it has always been Manhood Hour. What is a man? What is a man?
It's an adult human male.
Manhood. Hillary or President Trump?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
Beta.
Palestinian militants from the armed group Hamas launched a surprise coordinated attack on Israel by land, sea, and air on Saturday morning.
The spokesman for the Israeli military said all options are on the table in terms of a large-scale Israeli military incursion.
Vladimir Putin has announced the successful test of a new generation of nuclear-powered cruise missile.
This should be personal for every woman and man in America.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Naira, and I just came out of Kuwait.
This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America.
While I was there, I saw the Iraqi soldiers come into the hospital with guns. They took the babies out of the incubators, and left the children to die on the cold floor.
Kill all Palestinians! All of them!
At the end of my next 4 years, the warmongers and frauds and failures of the senior ranks of our government will all be gone, and we will have a new group of competent national security officials who believe in defending America's vital interests above all else. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Nice. That's what I'm talking about. If ever we needed the great white hope, we need him now. Come by here, Lord. Come by here. So listen. There's an order to life, and that order is inside of you. It's not outside of you. And men, you are needed in this world. You represent the Father, except that you've been turned away from him and gone into the darkness of the woman's world, which is evil. Turn back to the Father. Forgive your mothers. Forgive your father for not protecting you from mama. He could not help it. His mother screwed him up too. And she became his God. And the woman he's married to or made a baby with is his mama. And the cycle repeats itself. But you can overcome it. Christ came. The Son of God came so we could be free. So we can be free. All right? So go and forgive. Anyone that has anger has been turned away from the Father. And you have the nature of your mother, which is the nature of evil. Turn back by forgiving and turn back to the Father. You'll see the light will come on, and that's the beginning of overcoming the darkness, and you shall be made free. All right? Let me go back to Cameron, our first-time caller of Vermont, and he's dealing with some issues in life, and I had to put him on hold because we ran out of time there. Cameron, you said you went and forgave your mother. What did you say to her?
I feel like it was genuine, but I feel like I need to go back to her because I basically kept it as simple as I was crying on the phone like a beta for one. And, yeah. and I was thinking about you because I knew what I needed to do, and she was feeling bad for stuff she did, and I just said, look, I forgive you for, everything that you did to me growing up, allowing Dad to treat me the way he did. And, she didn't deny anything I was saying, but I could sense that she didn't really understand where I was coming from, but I think it made her feel better, but I'm not exactly sure. I feel like I need to go back to her and do a more thorough forgiveness.
Did you grow up close to your mother?
Yeah, I grew up, my family was together, both my mom and dad.
And who were you the closest to, your father or your mother?
Oh, God, I'm scared to even say. It was my mom.
No wonder your dad beat your A.
Well, it's sad because it's like my dad, even to this day, I have to reach out to him. He doesn't talk.
Well, we're going to get to your father in a minute, but that's why your father treated you that way, because you treated him in the same way that your mother was treating him. It's the same spirit. You had become like your mother, and you identified with your mother as though she was a victim, and she was not a victim. That's why she didn't stop your dad from beating you, because she wanted him to beat you so you could hate him and think that he was a bad guy.
That makes sense. Well, okay, so I got a question about how are you able to forgive somebody? Like, how am I supposed to forgive my dad if I can't agree with or feel? I don't even understand how to ask the question, but I don't. Like I said, I'm struggling with figuring out a way to forgive him because I want to, but I just don't even know what I would say to him where he would understand what I'm trying to get at.
Okay, that's a good question. You know how you have this anger, you're emotional, and you don't know how to make life work for you?
Yeah.
And you can't help yourself?
Yeah.
Your father has the same problem. Your mama got the same problem. Every human being has the same problem. They
and I hear you say that.
They could not help themselves. And knowing that you can't help yourself would cause you to realize they can help themselves. And you would go to them and say, hey, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you couldn't help yourself. And even with your mother, hey, mother, I'm sorry for resenting you. I know now you can help yourself when you turn me away from my father. Your hatred made you turn me away from him too. I know now that you can help yourself. And don't ask for forgiveness. You apologize for resenting them, and then God will forgive you, and he will take the spirit of the mother away from you, which is the spirit of evil. And you'll start to see, and everything else will start to change.
That makes perfect sense.
And you don't need them to understand, because they do understand. They just pretending they don't. But you don't need them to understand. You don't need them to apologize. You don't need them to admit to anything. If they do, that's good for them. But you don't need that. You're admitting I'm wrong for resenting you, because that's what's keeping you away from perfect peace, right? And when you apologize for resenting them, realizing they couldn't help it, God will forgive you, and you can start living your life.
And let them
go right on to hell.
Yep.
Because they're already in hell, and they love their hell, and they love talking about their hell, and they love hating because they love their hell.
How do you deal with, like, I can't deal with it, I guess, but, like, living with an alcoholic or something? Because I feel bad for my mom, too, mostly, because, she's getting run down by him. I guess that's her
she's
fault,
not.
right?
Your mother is getting exactly what she loves. She wants him to do that. That's why she make him do it. She brings it out of him so she can feel like a victim and make you guys think she's the victim. But what you don't know, and you will see it if you wake up, that your mother loved bringing the hell out of your father, and she loved feeling like the victim. Your mother is not a victim.
Yeah, I guess, because she could walk up and go whenever she wanted to.
No, she doesn't. She love it. If she left your father, she would go and find somebody else that she could bring the hell out of. So she.
What if she's confused though, and she stayed for her children? I always think of that. Like,
she's lying. She didn't stay for her children. She stayed for the hell of it. Because if she had stayed for her children, she would not have turned them against their father.
Well, so to that point, because they've been going through problems recently, and I came up there. I don't ever really see my dad, but I went up to the house. I go up there. Sometimes they actually live like a mile or two down the road from me. And I went up there, and it was a few months back, but she's been going through problems with my sister. She's in high school right now, so I think she's 16. And she was talking about this and that, and with Leah is her name, and she was talking about how, dad's doing this, dad's doing that, and I was talking to your sister about this and that, and I said, well, that's where I'm going to stop you, because I told her, I said, I don't think you should be telling my little sister your points of view on our dad, what I mean? Whether he be right or wrong, but, listening to you made me realize that and tell her that, and she's like, no, you're right, I wasn't trying to, put him down to her, but I just pointed that out to her. I was like, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. Because, she's going to...
Your mother is pure evil, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She has no business talking to you or anyone else about your father.
Yeah, that's what I told her. But my dad isn't exactly a nice guy.
But we'll get to him. Let's deal with evil one first.
Yeah.
Your mother is pure evil, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She's talking about your guy's father, so you all won't love him, but be in the hell with her. And that's why she's talking to your sister and you and everybody else about him, because your mother's heart is wicked. And you can't play a game with evil. You can't pretend it's your father's fault. It's not your father's fault at all. Your mother was already evil when your father met her. When he first laid eyes on her, she already had those problems. She was already evil. In the same way, your father was already evil when he met your mama, because his mama had already destroyed him as well.
And that's I can definitely see that, 'cause my dad's mom he's just like her. So I grew up Catholic, and I was confirmed.
Do you see what your mother's like?
My mom's mom, that's weird, because she's a super nice lady. She's smoking cigarettes, drinking booze, but she's the most go with the flow type
Oh, that's the worst kind. Your mother,
I guess.
Your grandmother destroyed your mother. That's how she became that way. Your mother is not a nice lady.
I've never seen my mom's mom resent people though.
Look at your mom.
You know,
all you do is
What?
look at your mother.
Yeah, I know. I guess you're right.
And if you
But my
ever
mom,
be honest with your grandmother, you're going to see the hell come out of her too.
No, actually, now that you bring that up, you're right.
She's only acting nice because nobody's being honest with her about the hell that's in her.
Yeah, and she's been through a divorce. My mom's parents are divorced, so that all makes sense, I guess.
She has recreated her daughter in her image, and that's why her daughter is living the same life that her mother lived.
So there's nothing I can really do, though, besides just forgive them, let them go on their way. And
100%.
all right.
And I want to encourage you, do what you want, but I want to encourage you from this day forward, but do what you want. I would never have another conversation with my mother about my father or her troubles.
Yep. No, and it feels wrong when she does it to me. It does feel wrong.
Right,
she's
because
giving me...
you're talking to hell.
Yeah.
And your mother loved complaining because she get a false sense of a thrill from it when she even complain about it.
Let me mention something about my dad. I was up there. They got a camp, you know, a little tiny little lake house thing, camp, whatever. But I went up there. Been trying to visit them more often just to see them and say hi. And I was sitting in the sunroom with my dad and mom and my grandma. My dad, he's one of those types that likes to lecture, and he, like I said, he drinks all the time. So when he gets, you know, late at night, starts getting a little sideways, and he doesn't want to listen to anybody. But as I've gotten older, I've been able to learn how to just say how I actually feel to him. And we got to a point in the conversation, and it's happened multiple times now. When I go up there and I try to talk to him, and it for like an hour or two we'll talk, and it feels good, and then I'll say something he doesn't like, and I see the anger come out of him, and he flips out at me. Not like he just, the anger, I don't know what it is. This last time he told me, he says, I said something, and I was trying to tell him about you, and he says, don't F word with me. He said it much more aggressively than that, and he points his finger at me, and he's staring me dead in the eyes, and that's the point he gets to. He gets to the point where he literally wants to strangle me. You know what I mean? And then I had to stand up, walk away. I started crying, and I told him I loved him. And he didn't say anything back to me. And I walked outside. I smoked a cigarette. And then I came back in, and I didn't know if he was still going to be there. And he was. And he was, sitting on the couch. And I told him again because I wanted him to know that I loved him. And he didn't even say anything to me. And I was like, how do you deal with wanting to help somebody, but you just have to walk away? Is that the best way to help them, is to walk away? Because I feel like he doesn't know how to help himself.
I'm glad that he treated you that way. I hope he continue to treat you that way as long as you think that you can help him or anybody. You can't even help yourself, and you keep imposing on him. He should treat you that way. Because you're just like his mama.
No, well, he felt bad too because he felt like I was telling him he was wrong, and he brought up the.
He should be treating you that way because you need to back off and work on your own life. The only thing you need to do with both of your parents is apologize to them for resenting them. They could not help themselves, and you need to go live your life and stop trying to change anyone. And you don't love your father either because if you loved him, you would back off.
Right. Now that makes sense. It makes me feel bad though because it's the devil speaking. I understand that, but it feels, and you shouldn't listen to your feelings, I know, but it feels like it's coming from a good place, you know. But all it does is create chaos and hell, and I guess
because you're just like your mama, you're into thoughts and feelings. Yeah. You got to overcome the female nature, which is of your mother, because you're treating your father like a female.
Should I want to be like him, though? I mean, not in the sense of an alcoholic, I guess.
You don't want to be like anyone but you.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like your father. You don't want to be like your mother. You don't want to be like your dog. You don't want to be like your cat.
How do I react when my dad then tells me I'm doing wrong, though? Like I said, I'm trying to live in a way that makes me happy.
Karma, you don't understand. You don't overreact. You got to stop overreacting. That's what women do.
Yeah, yeah.
So hear me out. Oh, let me tell you this before you hear me out. You said earlier, do you understand you got to forgive your father because you see him the way your mother see him?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And he hates you for it because you're doing him the same way his mother does him. I mean, your mother treat him.
Yeah. But
aren't you tired of being a female?
And say that again?
Aren't you tired of being a female?
I'm tired of whatever I'm doing, yeah. And if that's being a female, then yeah, I guess.
That is being a female. Any
Yeah.
man that's into thoughts and emotion is a woman. He's a female.
Yeah.
So let me go to this first, and then I'll tell you the other stuff. You said that you were an alcoholic earlier, right?
Well, hearing you say it makes me revert back into thinking of, no, I'm not. But because I was in rehab for almost 3 months, and that was the last time I stopped drinking. Before that, I probably drank for a few years straight, and then I've been drinking. After I got out of rehab, I started drinking basically the week after I got out, and consistently. I haven't
So
stopped
who
drinking
is the
every day.
person that's the alcoholic? Who are you that you describe this person that is an alcoholic?
Well, that's what I've been told. You know, I've never believed I've been an alcoholic, but I live in the life of what they would call an alcoholic, so I guess I've fallen student. Like, you know, when you go into AA, they tell you need to say, "Hi, my name's Cameron. I'm an alcoholic."
Right.
And then
What a setup.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where I get that kind of thinking from, I guess.
Right. So it sounds like you have heard me say, stop identifying as anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you are not an alcoholic. That's what you do as a result of having all this conflict inside of you and not knowing who you really are, but this fake you, and you're using the alcohol to try to escape the conflict. But you are not an alcoholic. The real you, and this fake you, is not even you, but you identify with the alcohol and calling yourself that. Never say that again.
Okay.
Because it gives you a false sense of identity. That's a spirit that is made a home in you. It's not you.
It makes sense. My boss was trying to tell me, because we were talking about it, and told him, you know, I just got to quit or something. And he says, well, don't even look at it like that. He said, just stop, you know? And I couldn't really understand how he, you know, it didn't make sense to me, but relating to what you're saying, you got to formulate your way of thinking, I guess. And I don't, you know.
Listen, how old are you?
24.
You can't stop drinking alcohol. Because if you stop, you're going to use something else in the place of it.
Well, I unfortunately smoke marijuana, too.
I rest my case.
Yeah, I know.
So here's what if you want to be, because the alcohol is not the problem. The problem is that you've been turned away from your father toward evil, toward darkness. And you're lost. You're in the wilderness of your imagination and emotions. That's the wilderness. And you're lost in the wilderness. And you're trying to find everything to make you feel better, and nothing going to work. You understand that?
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. That's what it feels like.
And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to give up trying to make your life work. Never try to prove anything to your father, your mother, anyone, Jesse Peterson or anyone. Never try to be like anyone. If you want to live in a hole of dirt, you live there and be at peace. And so never try to prove anything. But you got to start working on you. You see that as wrong for resenting your parents, and this resentment is destroying you by keeping you in the darkness, right?
Absolutely.
Because anyone that has anger is judging. And when you judge, you're being judged. Because what you do to others, you're doing it to yourself. Is that clear?
That's amazing.
Your father and mother cannot help themselves. They have the same problem that they have passed on to you.
Yeah, that's one of the, I appreciate most about you because you've helped me realize that when I get these thoughts into my head, and when I first realized I liked you, I was anxious all the time, and I still am. Don't get me wrong. I'm still dealing with trying to learn how to figure it out.
Let me tell you this about the anxiousness. That's not you either. That is the spirit of evil in your flesh, and it is anxious. It just feels like you, but it's not you at all.
Yeah.
But
and that's what I'm trying to. I look at my thoughts now. I feel like, and when I feel that way, I'm like, why am I feeling like
yes?
This? And I just push it to the side. But I'm getting there. I need to start doing the silent prayer. I'm not doing that.
And why not?
Guess I'm lazy. I want to. I hear you say do it all the
die.
time. I know. Suffering, I know. That's what I'm going to end up doing. I don't want to, but I need to start doing it. I'm going to start doing it.
So here's what I recommend. Forgive your parents, especially your mother, for turning you away from your father. And forgive your father for not protecting you from your mother. He can help it.
Yep.
And don't ask for forgiveness. Don't expect anything from them at all. And have no expectation. And don't let the devil tell you, oh, it didn't work, or blah, 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 right? Have no expectation. Yeah. And then start doing the silent prayer so you can come. The light of God, the love, the truth, will bring you out of the darkness of the imagination. And I want you to start, I encourage you to start just watching those thoughts, knowing that it's not you. And if you stay with it because you have identified with emotions and thought for so long, you think it's you. So you have layers and layers of false identities to overcome. So be patient and watch. And when you feel the pain of fear, loneliness, sadness, joy, or whatever, you let it all pass. And you stay with it, and you'll be fine. And from this day forward, I recommend do what you want. I would be done with my parents' problem. They love their hell. They love their problems. They have displayed that to you over and over again. So back off, go and work on and live your life.
Sounds good.
And don't try to prove anything to your father or anybody. It's evil trying to prove anything to anyone. God doesn't prove that he's God to anyone.
Yeah.
Why should you prove anything to anyone?
Yeah.
And the more you try, the more they're going to act like they don't see it anyway, because they feel like they have control over you. And they're going to pretend they don't see what you're doing. And they do, but they love the control they have more than they appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah. So I just want to be clear too. You think exactly how he treated me, and I can see it too. I believe you, but how he treated me, and I felt bad about it. He was in the right when he didn't say I love you back and stuff.
Yeah, because he had no love to give you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He didn't love 100%. You, and you didn't love him. You are yearning for him. That emptiness you have is a yearning for the Father, right?
Okay, that makes sense.
You're not going to get it that way. He could tell you all day and night he loves you. That's not going to do anything. But when you forgive him, then that emptiness, that void, that yearning would disappear. And then you will love your Father with the love of God, and it would be perfect.
That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
So now just work on you, man, and wish them well. Don't try to get anything from anyone, and you'll be fine, but you got to work on you. And all thoughts are all lies all the time about anything, except practical thoughts of what you're going to eat, go get you some food, or drive your car.
Yeah. Oh, that makes perfect sense.
Hold on for 1 minute. I'll close out this review. Hold on. Don't hang up. Let me take a quick break. I'll be back in a moment. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, They have amazing ideas about starting a business, but because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true. It's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. Amazing! Quick announcements. I want to get back to the phones here, your super chats. 888-7753-773. Number one, this is Trump. Put America first. Number one, the Hake report is coming up at 9 a.m. at the top of this hour, right after my show, from 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time. Number two, wow, Hassan, with 2 S's, W-O-W, walking on water. Every Wednesday, right after the Hake report. I can't wait to see what's going to happen today on his show. Lord have mercy, it's been a mess last week. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this week. You don't want to miss it. I'm looking at it last week. I'm like, is this boy about to jump off a bridge or something? What the? Wow, Hassan.
What the?
I don't know what's going to happen, folks. But it will be interesting, whatever. And after Wow Hassan, the American anchor baby. The American anchor baby at 12 noon Pacific time. Flying high. Not off pot, not off alcohol, not off fentanyl, but pure energy of God, of love. The American anchor baby.
Amazing.
Amazing. At 12 noon Pacific time. All right, so get ready. It's going to be exciting. And y'all need to podcast Joel Friday TV from yesterday. It was something else. It was amazing. All right, so let me do this. I want to go quickly back to Cameron. Oh, the treasure chest is now open on D Live. Treasure chest on D Live. Cameron.
Hello.
So let's sum this up for you. It's time to work on you only.
Yep.
And you and in talking with you about all these things you've been trying to do with your father and everyone, you're listening to the same devil that set you up. The answers are not in the mind. They're not in the imagination. That's what got you in trouble in the beginning when you became angry. They are not in thoughts, so stop trusting thoughts. You're in a jail cell, or you're going around in this jail cell and trying to get the solution to how to break out from thoughts. When it was the thoughts that put you into jail, and now the thoughts will give you all kind of answers to keep you there, but you keep trusting them. If you want to crawl out of jail, you got to crawl out of thoughts.
Does that mean being okay with, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable then?
100%.
Okay.
100%, man. You watch yourself, and when you feel That's what it means to keep eye on yourself. You're really watching the not self, right? And when you
Right,
feel
yeah.
uncomfortable, when you feel fear, when you feel lonely, when you feel all this,
Yeah.
it's you're watching it, and you're neither okay with it or not okay with it. You're just watching it because you're watching. The real you is watching the not you, and the not you is dying. It's becoming weaker and weaker and weaker, and eventually it'll be gone. So don't hate it nor love it.
Will do.
That makes sense?
Absolutely. And again, I just want to thank you, Jesse, because you've helped me tremendously.
You're welcome, but you haven't seen help yet. Wait until you stay with it. Do the silent prayer every morning, every night. Don't let, and it's going to be overwhelming in the beginning because you're so accustomed to limiting thoughts, and it feels like you're dying, but it's not you. It feels overwhelming. It feels overwhelming, but it's not you. You're just watching. You're finally watching the not you, and that's in the light of God would get rid of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard you say you gotta turn the thoughts off too, and
well, you turn them off by just watching them. You're not your thoughts.
Right.
Don't fight with them. Don't do anything but watch.
Yep.
Like watching a TV show.
Well, thank you again, Jesse, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
I appreciate that. The same for you. But listen, go and forgive your parents. Just don't ask them. Just say, hey, I'm sorry for resenting you. And however they respond to it, that's on them.
So let me ask about that, too. So you got to forgive, but you also have to apologize for what you've done, right?
No.
Okay.
Not one iota. No. No, 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 no. And no mean no.
Okay, so no apology.
The only thing you is apologizing for, I'm sorry for resenting you. I realize now you can help yourself.
That's what I heard you say earlier. That's what I was trying to. I thought I heard you say that, so I just wanted to make sure. So that's okay. You just apologize for resenting them in the first place.
And that's what it means to confess your sins. I am wrong for resenting you, and then the heart will change.
Have you ever learned about the 12 steps at all, or no?
Thank God, no.
Well, they talk about
that. That's the last thing you need is a 12-step. You need one step.
Well, they talk about they have you go through the 12 steps.
I know. I heard about them.
But they talk about resentment, and they want you to write down how you feel wronged by other people, and then after that, the next step is you got to write down what you did to that person to make them, to make them resent you or
give them the finger.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. You make me so happy, Jesse. And you make so much sense too. I don't know. I've never met anybody that I've learned that, when you tell the truth, it makes sense for whatever reason.
And you know why it makes sense?
No.
Because God is allowing you to see that what I'm saying makes sense. It's not me causing you to see it. It's He causing you to see it.
I can't believe I've never heard somebody explain it in the way that you do. Because, like I said, I grew up going to catechism every week and stuff. And, I'd ask the priest questions about the Bible, and I didn't understand things. And the way he would explain it would just leave me still confused. But the way you explain things makes me just feel like my eyes are open. I don't understand.
And they are opening. That's because you want the truth. You want what's right. You're welcoming the truth. You're not mad at the truth. You're welcoming it. And it is coming into you and waking you up and bringing you back to the Father.
It feels good, honestly. You can feel it. And I know I'm not there yet, 100%.
Yeah.
Not even close to 100. But ever since listening to you, and I got to get on the silent prayer. I know.
Yep. And what you said, and what feel good is all this conflict and this anger, this fear, this loneliness, this doubt, this revenge, this anxiety, this trying to please someone. That is starting to disappear. And you have a free feeling, and that's what you mean by feel good, because the conflict is disappearing.
heavy.
And you are becoming free of the darkness. And that's what you're seeing. That's what you're feeling.
Well, thank you again, Jesse. It all makes perfect sense when it comes from you.
So don't say I'm sorry for what I did. No, don't, because everything you have done up until this point was because of your mother. She recreated you her image, and you were given back what you got. And because your father was angry as well, or is angry.
Yeah.
It was never your fault. You are not guilty and never have been guilty of anything except not forgiven so that you could be free. But everything else that you have done that has happened to you in life was never, ever you.
Like starting to sweat right now.
The only thing that you were wrong for was hating, because it separated you from your earthly father and God, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, you have never done anything at all in your life that's wrong. You have never done it. It was just false identity inside of you, making you think that it was you, but it was never you. And so God is not holding anything against you at all, because he knows that you were never guilty of anything except for not forgiven.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
All right, so I got to run, but do the silent prayer. Apologize to them for resenting them. You don't need a long conversation. If they understand it, fine. If they don't, fine. They do understand it is lying, but they don't want it, right? And if they accept it, fine. If they don't, fine. God will forgive you. Don't ask for forgiveness. I'm sorry for resenting you, and God will forgive you, all right?
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jesse. It was a great first-time call for me. I was a little nervous calling in. I don't think I've ever called in on a radio show before, but
all right,
you make me feel good.
You make me smile only just for a while. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Jesse.
Let me know how it goes.
Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, I will. I'll call back.
Okay. Have a good one.
All right, thank you.
All right. Amazing. 888-7753-773. Let me go to Zach, a first-time caller out of Sweet Home, Alabama. Zach, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning from Sweet Home, Alabama.
Sweet Home, Alabama.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, I just wanted to call this morning and say thank you for the Manhood Hour, and thank you for your show. That call right there from Cameron was absolutely beautiful and very fitting for Manhood Hour. Also very fitting to my life. I've absolutely lived that same scenario, same set of circumstances, just with an additional factor. I've been paralyzed since the age of 14. I'm 35 now. I was injured racing motocross. And the devil has truly attacked me through my circumstances and beat me down. I was a true beta, wheelchair-bound beta. But, yes, sir. But thanks to the Father God delivering the message through you for all of us to hear, I am now a double middle finger given alpha. And yes, sir, absolutely. Praise God. Through the message, I have been able to realize that I have overcome paralysis. I have overcome everything that the devil has thrown my way, trying to defeat me, just by eliminating my thoughts, my emotions, my ego. I couldn't see all that. I thought, well, you're living on your own, been on your own since you was 18 and 100% independent, and, look at you, big bad, doing things that others, can't do or praise you for doing and all that. And that was the devil right there. I was representing Satan. And, but going back to Cameron, man, I really hope and pray that he sticks with it and listens to every single word that the Father just shared through you with him. because he can do it. Cameron can overcome, and all men and women going through this can overcome, because you're right. We're all on the same journey. It's just a different set of circumstances that we're having to deal with and overcome.
Yep.
And he just needs to give 2 middle fingers and just go away and just isolate, because you are absolutely right. Again, the more silent time that we have and the more we isolate ourselves, we have to choose to isolate ourselves from evil once it is revealed to us that we're dealing with that evil. And when we separate and isolate and we go into silent time, God really, really opens up the eyes of your heart.
Absolutely,
and
man.
When your heart is open, your mind is open, and, man, God will just show out through you. But you have to let him. You have to let go of absolutely everything.
If you let go of all thought, you can walk on water.
Yes, amen. Yes, sir.
How old are you, Zach?
I'm 35.
Amazing, man. Are you doing the silent prayer yet?
Yes, sir, I sure am.
Every morning, every night?
Yes, sir. That's what keeps me going right now, Jesse.
Stay with it, stay with it, stay with it, and have no expectation, and great things will happen. It's going to blow your mind even more so. Amen.
Yes, sir, Jesse. And I just, you're so right, and I don't want to take up any more time on here, but just, man, it's just that I praise the Father for the beautiful message that he is sharing through you, Jesse.
Yeah. Amazing. Man, this is an amazing call. Stay with us, Zach, and it's just going to get better. All
yes,
thoughts
sir.
are
Amen.
all lies all the time about anything, so never believe a thought.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're so right. And all men out there, come on, guys, let's be alphas.
It's time to return to the Father.
Amen, Jesse. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Zach. Amazing call.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, buddy. Call me again.
Yes, sir. I sure will.
All right. That's amazing. I'm telling you, folks, it's up to you. Nobody else. It's up to you. Either you're going to be in the world or out of it. In it, but not of it. You're going to live from the world within, or you're going to live the illusional world outside of you, and it will destroy you. It will destroy you. Jasmine, a first-time call out of Texas. Jasmine, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Hey, Jasmine.
Hi, Jesse. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I can relate a lot to Cameron and the guy that just spoke in many ways.
Zach.
But mine is a little different because I'm a female, and so it's just I haven't been able to cope with my very strong independence, and sometimes I see a problem and I have to fix it, or I have that type of mentality, and it just comes out too naturally. And so I see myself that I don't catch my thoughts, and I don't know what else to do, because I am doing the silent prayer at night and in the morning, and sometimes I do it during my day. But I have forgiven my dad, and we've had a beautiful reconnection. And I've forgiven my mom, but I do see how she has a lot of things she has to work on, and I do live with her, and I distance myself from her as much as I can to avoid any, trying to interfere with what she's working on or what she's doing. But I just have a problem when it comes down to, I don't want to use the word humble myself, but I'm very to the point where I don't talk or associate to no one, to just keep out of people's way, and for me to be out of people's way as well, and for them to be out of my way. Does that make sense?
Right. I understand what you're saying, yes. How old are you?
I'm 29.
And why are you still living with your mother?
Well, I was living on my own, and I moved back in because, they just asked me to move back in. It was going to save me money. And that's another thing. I don't need to save money. I make very good money. And And when I went through the awakening part of it,
Yeah.
I was ready to let go of everything. I just wanted to walk out of the house with. I felt like I was going insane at that moment because I realized like everything that I was living, it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't me. And I see what you mean about women, how we're emotional and how, to be honest, like I feel like I grab myself into money, hustle type of mentality.
Right.
And I go to the gym, and I go to the gym a lot, and I used to do bodybuilding, and I realized how much of an ego I was to myself. Like I made myself my own god in a sense.
Yeah.
And I even stopped going to the gym for a while because I was so. I realized what I did was wrong, and how I built myself up that way. And I know it's not me now.
Right.
And I don't know how to like. There's moments where I don't know how to walk from here. Like I realized so many things. I was going into lesbianism. Like I was just heading the wrong way.
Yeah.
Completely. And I realized that, and I see it now. It's like, because women are so emotional, it's so easy to relate to them.
Yeah.
And I would admire women and how beautiful they were. And like, I was like, I can take care of you. I can, I was getting into that mentality. And now that I'm getting out of it, I also see there's a moment in my life now that I see where when I get men's attention, it automatically kind of makes me want to, be aggressive. And not aggressive, it's more like I get so much anxiety and defensive. Like, I know what you want from me. Like, these are thoughts that get in my head, and I don't know how to deal with that in the moment. And I just shut down.
And when you see men doing that, looking at you, you know what they want. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's just, I see the same thing in men, like they sexualize you a lot.
Yes.
Yes. And it's just aggravating to me because I can get that. Okay, so I was with a guy, and he tells me, we were doing this business transaction, and I'm telling you, I'm like so into business. That's like my ego, that and the gym. And I was doing this business transaction with him, and he's like, we can have a little fun on the side. And I'm like, I don't need that from you, especially if we're doing business.
Yeah.
To keep it, business. I don't need that from you. I could get that anywhere and from a lot of different people. And this guy, we ended up getting married, but because of legal reasons, not because we were together.
Right.
But it was just like, I didn't like the fact that he was putting that on the table when he knew that the first thing on the table was business. And like messing with that side is just messing with each other's emotions and stuff. And I know I'm a woman, and it brought me aggravation to know that he knows I'm a woman and that I can be emotional, and mixing anything sexual with business would cause conflict.
Yes. Yes.
And like, are you really that stupid that we have to, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Jaffa, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. The clock is running out, this call is so deep that I can hardly stand it. This is one of the deepest calls I ever had from a woman. So here's what I want you to do if you can. Are you able to call me back tomorrow at any point, no matter what time? I mean, between.
I do work, but like I'm very lenient at work. Yeah.
Well, call me tomorrow. We're on from 6 to 9, my time, Pacific time, right? So call me tomorrow. I want to finish up on this call, and I want and it's from 8 to 11 your time. So between 8 to 11, I want you to call me and let the call stream know that I told you to call me back, and I'll take you right away so I don't keep you from your work and stuff.
Okay.
Because, and I want to talk to you about the whole thing, but especially that when guys look at you, you can see that they're sexualizing you, and you don't like that. Every woman hate that. Every woman hate that. But what they do, some take it and they control the man with it because they see his weakness. But others
I
don't.
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I see that. And, like, I even had a girl coaching me. And I'm like, look, I don't want to take advantage of guys, but guys keep trying to take advantage of me. So show me. And I see that that's wrong, too. So
Yeah.
I cut her off. I'm like, you know what? No, you are not good. I want to
Oh
stick
my
to who
God, this is such an amazing call. Can you call me tomorrow for sure?
Okay.
Or if not tomorrow, the first chance you get. I wish I had more time, but my show is over right now.
Okay, it's fine. Thank you so much.
All right, but make sure you call me back, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye now. Amazing call. I'm out of time. Become your own man, your own woman, if you want to be free. The Hake Report is coming up now. And then Wow with Hassan at 11. And then the Anchor Baby. I'm out of time, folks. Do the silent prayer or suffer and die. Bye. I'll do your super chat tomorrow, too. I forgot about that. You saw what happened. Bye. Jasmine, call me back whenever, as soon as you can. A deep call from a lady, a woman. That's a real woman. All right, folks. Have a good one. Bye.
Check. I had to get on the track one time. Joel Friday here. Check. Look, stand up. We got fighting to do. We gotta show 'em who boss. He put a Viking in you. He put that lightning in you. Igniting the truth. But you beg and blame and lie and hate and never wanna stand for the truth. So what you planning to do? You only standing to lose. You better go talk to your mama. Better stop at the drama. Better drop all the trauma. Boy, you better stand up and up. Put your hand up and hut. Cause if we don't, then we lose. And then we gotta hear the fake news. Whoa.
Know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause you must know that so you get something went wrong, but face the truth about yourself and just seek first God's kingdom, cause I know we can find a way. I know we can find a way.
So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Other than sex, I wonder, why would a man even need a woman today? Women don't know how to cook. They don't know how to clean. They're in competition with men. They don't want to be wives and mothers. Some want to get married, but they don't want to live in that proper position of life. Because the only purpose of marriage is to have a family. And that's been known forever. And so if you don't want to have children, there is no need to get married. And so I was wondering, why would a man even get married today? I never thought I'd see the day when women would come out of her natural role and be like a man even though she hate that role, when she was with a man that's weak, she hate him. But if he try to be strong, she'll stop it. I never imagine that. You're seeing good destroyed and abnormal is presented as normal.
Thank